Hi there, my name is Suze, and I work with women to help them find emotional fulfillment and satisfaction in their lives. Happy Monday morning. It is a little dark for me today on the day that I am doing this recording, so I hope you guys can see me and everything is all right. It is raining and it is dark, but I love the rain. It's that cleansing energy. It makes me just want to get cozy with my blankie. I have a blankie on my chair here. I was thinking about wrapping myself up in it while I'm here. Happy Monday. Today we want to talk about the sacrifice required for emotional fulfillment. I've been kind of hinting at this in my past few videos, particularly on Friday and Saturday of the past week. Friday being Feminine Energy Friday, Feminine Energy Tip of the Day, and Saturday being my astrology day. There is a lot of energy in astrology that is supporting this idea of the sacrifice required for emotional fulfillment. And this is something that, this is a loop, and it's really a karmic loop. It's a karmic loop, a self-sabotaging behavior, subconscious behavior, whatever you want to call it in whatever frame. This is really a big thing that for most of my life tripped me up for a really long time. And the more I saw how this was completely destroying my sense of emotional fulfillment in my life, I started seeing it in everyone else as well. And this all comes back to, as I love to talk about, and this is that Chiron energy, coming back to childhood and emotional neglect in childhood, particularly around the mother. Particularly, whether your mother was physically unavailable or physically and emotionally unavailable, doesn't matter. The end result is emotional distress that now has made you have these coping mechanisms and all of these subconscious behaviors that sometimes we're not even aware of what we're actually doing because it has become so ingrained and so habitual. So on the path of emotional fulfillment, unfortunately, there is some sacrifice required. However, with sacrifice, on the other side of the sacrifice, the reward is far greater than what you were buying into before it. And so what I'm talking about here is the idea of instant gratification versus holding out for the real thing. And this can be particularly powerful, again, if we understand that women, feminine energies, have two ways of coping with lack of emotional investment from the mother in childhood, in whatever world realm that was. Somehow lacking emotional nurturance or emotional guidance, emotional regulation from the mother, whatever it may be. Emotionally, something wasn't quite right. The end result in adulthood is sexual dysfunction and emotional eating, okay? And recognizing the pattern there. And this is a conversation I'm going to be unraveling for a long, long, long time. But just for today, I just want to get at one little nook and cranny of this whole thing here. The sacrifice required for emotional fulfillment is you have to stop letting yourself go into the instant gratification, which what you're doing in the instant gratification is there's this overwhelming, nervous, anxious energy that is building up in your body. And so you are choosing the unhealthy coping mechanism that helps you release that energy. Because what's happening is, and this is a good thing, clearly, it's just what we choose to do with it is where we're shooting ourselves in the foot, so to speak. But what's happening is your body is recognizing, your intuitive self is recognizing, we have a lot of really intense, chaotic, wild energy building up within us, and it's triggering all these thoughts that are really confusing and disturbing and causing even more emotional distress and stress for myself, and we need to fix this, right? Because that's what the brain is always going to do. I feel pain and discomfort, and so I need to get away from it, right? And so whatever the coping mechanism, the self-sabotaging, subconscious behavior thing that is your release button to release that energy, you're going to be tempted to push that button. The problem is it's a temporary release, but then you're going to find yourself right back there again, right? Don't you know it? You know it. You get into these patterns, you're like, why can't I overcome this thing? Why am I back here again? Why did I do that? And then the shame and the guilt and the regret comes back around, and it's this never-ending loop, which clearly will never get you to feeling really, truly emotionally fulfilled and satisfied and powerful in yourself. So, what is required is disrupting this loop, okay? So whatever your outlet is, whether it be, again, sexual dysfunction, and I mean that in a very broad sense, because maybe you're the woman who you just need some guy attention. You need some male attention, right? You're feeling anxiety, you're feeling some kind of crazy something going up. And so you need, attention from a man to validate you, or to make you know that everything is okay, or to make you feel that you are wanted and desired, and that, you do have value and worth in the world. And so maybe you don't take it as far as physical intimacy and sexual behavior. Maybe you don't go that far. Maybe you just go to the place of getting attention, right? Maybe you go there. But the thing is, it may help you in the moment feel better about yourself, but then if you're really honest and transparent with yourself after the fact, you end up finding out that you're never really truly satisfied, and you're just going to find yourself in that place again of needing that male attention and that male validation all over again. And part of that is very feminine. I talked about this in one of my videos last week about, I don't want this to be taken in a shame way, because feminine energy is receptive energy. It's all about receiving. So it does want and need attention, because attention is energy. You're receiving energy through attention, whatever level of attention we're talking about. And the feminine does legitimately need that. So no, you're not being too needy. No, nothing's wrong with you. You are feminine, and you are recognizing that the feminine aspect in her heart and soul, she needs energy given to her. She needs attention. That is part of your emotional fulfillment. However, quickly going out and getting random hits of attention without building an emotional foundation, without having that deep commitment to someone, is not going to give you that sustainable, long-term, true, deep, intense emotional intimacy, emotional fulfillment, emotional satisfaction. So then you get just stuck going around and around and around trying to get attention to temporarily satisfy that need, get rid of that nervous energy, and then you're right back there again, whatever length of time later, right? And when we're talking about sexual activity, it's even more powerful, because clearly there is a physical release as well. So it's very potent of feeling like a release. Not only that, but it's also escape a lot of times. A lot of times in these kinds of coping mechanism situations, we're using it as an escape for the fact that we're not feeling emotionally fulfilled, right? And it's this trick, and I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. You're tricking yourself and deceiving yourself into thinking you have emotional fulfillment by going at it at the surface level, the physical level, instead of actually getting real, true emotional fulfillment and then allowing the physical piece to be layered on top of that. That is real connection, physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, and healing through sexual. Really powerful. Get into that later. So whether it be the food or the physical attention aspect, it does not matter. It's all in the core. It's happening at the same place. So the question is, am I, again, I've said this in other videos, am I hyper vigilant with myself enough? Am I sitting with myself enough to notice at the very beginnings of the stages of me recognizing oh boy, we got some intense energy building and some nervousness and some anxiety and uncertainty of the and fear of the future, or fear that something is going to end up in a particular way again. And then what am I doing with that? Am I reaching out and grabbing for some quick validation or reassurance or false sense of security that everything is okay? Or am I willing to go the distance? Am I willing to come back into myself, see what's really happening, learn to deal with my anxiety, stabilize myself in the anxiety, learn to take charge of my own emotional fulfillment in myself? Because anxiety is simply just avoidance of self and focusing on something outside of you, whether it be focusing on fear of the future or focusing on a guy and what he is or is not doing in the current dynamic with you. This is really, really radical. Taking responsibility for your own emotional happiness, satisfaction, and fulfillment. The sacrifice is you gotta hold out for the real thing. This is manifestation as well. This is why this is so deeply, powerfully feminine, because this is manifestation of having the faith that what you're manifesting and what you want for your life, the energies, the feelings that you want your life to be totally overflowing with, the things that are most important to your heart, the energies that your heart wants and desires to be surrounded by, knowing that you're not asking for too much, that what your heart desires, it wants you to. And it is there. And if it is in the form of a relationship, and please do not take this the wrong way, but in the divine counterpart aspect of I'm doing my work and waiting to align with the right partner for me, the life partner that's really aligned with me, there's an element of trusting that that person is doing their work too. I recently had another tattoo. Oh, and I just looked up and saw 1222, by the way. That is so powerful that just happened as I said that. I got some new tattoos the other day, and one of them is particularly that, to remind me the thing that I want wants me as well. My manifestation is there. The person that I am connected to I am trusting that they are doing their work too. And that love, true love, can never be lost. Do you believe that? That what you want wants you? And you just have to be patient with the process. Feminine energy requires really enormous amounts of patience and trust and belief in yourself, in your process, trusting that you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now, that everything really truly is okay right now, even though your mind might want to trip you up and tell you otherwise. And trusting that it will come to you in the right time, in the right way. Just make sure you're allowing things to come in and you're really assessing and evaluating them as things come in. Is this really aligned with my biggest, highest level emotional fulfillment vision for my life? Does this really align with my heart's needs and my heart's desires of what my heart needs to truly be happy? These are the questions. Sacrifice the short term for the long term, the sustainable. I'm being reminded of something. Let me go back in my notes here. I was listening to another YouTuber the other day, someone who I really have a lot of respect for, someone who has a lot of wisdom. And they were pulling oracle cards, and the message from one of the oracle cards, it was specifically a very Scorpio type energy, and I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart. It's easy to play in the shadows. There's no risk. There's no secret to be uncovered. Nothing that is unseen or unclear, but the pearls are hidden in the deep. I was like, oh, my Scorpio-ness of me was like reveling in that. I'm going to read it again. It's easy to play in the shallows. It's easy to go for the quick hit, right? There's no risk. There's no secret. Nothing that is unseen. but the pearls are in the depths, in the darkness. If you resonate with this message, you might really also resonate with the message I did yesterday for Sacred Sunday. I pulled oracle card decks, and ironically, one in particular was very much about this as well. Being willing to be in the darkness, being willing to integrate your shadows into yourself and accept them radically. The things that we shame ourselves the most for are also the things that hold the key to the things you value the most and you need to hold out and wait for, because what you value, there's someone out there who values it as well, and they're looking for you. Do you trust that? I hope this video helped. If you found value, please do subscribe and like. Drop me a comment what you appreciated the most here. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.